So here's the deal. I'm 23, and for the past 4 months, I've been seeing this amazing guy. He's 28, and honestly, I'm head over heels. He's thoughtful, smart, kind, just an all-around great human being. After dealing with more than enough trash in the dating pool, it's like I finally found someone who's emotionally mature and actually listens to me. My last ex couldn't even be bothered to reply to texts half the time and would flip out if I ask what was up. This new guy, he remembers tiny things I mention in passing and talks like a real adult. Wild, right? We met earlier this semester at university. He's a grad student and leads this tutoring group I joined. I was drowning in this one. Brutal course that's notorious for wrecking people's GPAs. And my advisor recommended I check out the program. Honestly, I almost failed because I hate asking for help, but I was desperate. GPA damage control and all that. The first session was awkward. Lots of students just sitting there, clearly not wanting to be there, but he made it feel way less painful. We clicked right away, and as the group sessions went on, we realized we had a lot in common. Same weird music taste, same goofy humor, and weirdest of all, we're from the same hometown, even though our school's like 3 hours away from it. During a break one day, we were chatting and figured out we even went to the same high school, just not at the same time. He graduated the year before I started, but he knew my older sister since they were in the same grade. I thought it was kind of a cool coincidence and asked if they were friends. He said they used to hang out in the same groups but lost touch after graduation, which sounded normal. Anyway, a couple of weeks into tutoring, he asked if I wanted to grab coffee, and we hit it off instantly. Coffee turned into dinner because we couldn't stop talking, and the rest is history. I even got in it in the class partly thanks to his tutoring, partly because I was so eager to impress him. Cringe, I know. The past 4 months have been great. I've met his roommates and some of his close grad school friends, and he's gotten to know my roommate. We've even gone on a few double dates with her and her boyfriend. Things have been feeling more serious lately. We've started talking about introducing each other to our families, especially with the holidays coming up. We didn't do Thanksgiving together because he was visiting his family and I went to see mine. They live in different cities now, but both still in the same state. We figured we'd try to spend at least part of Christmas together. My family has this whole Christmas Eve tradition with a fancy dinner and opening one gift each. Then a laid-back brunch on Christmas morning. I was hoping he could join us for Christmas Eve dinner and maybe hang around for part of Christmas Day too. At this point, I hadn't even told my parents or sister that I was seeing someone seriously. I've been burned before. My last relationship ended in a total mess, and everyone got way too invested in it. Even now, my mom still brings up my ex, which is super annoying. So I figured this time I'd wait until I was sure it was real before saying anything. Now that it is, I called to tell them about him and to ask if it would be okay if he came for the holidays. My mom was over the moon when I told her. She kept asking all these questions about him and seemed genuinely excited for me, which was such a relief. My mom was totally into it when I told her. She wanted to know everything. What he was studying, he's got a perfect GPA. By the way, what his family's like pretty standard, 2 parents still together, a younger brother, and most importantly, how he treats me. And honestly, better than anyone I've ever dated. She was thrilled. My dad was more laid back, but he said the guy sounded respectful and kind, and he'd be happy to meet him. Both of them gave the green light for him to join us for Christmas dinner. So next, I called my sister to tell her. She's 3 years older than me. And while we had the usual sibling drama growing up, we've been in a good place for a while now. She's usually cool about my relationships, even the not so great ones, so I wasn't expecting anything weird. I even teased her that it might feel like a mini high school reunion since she and my boyfriend sort of knew each other back then. At first, she was all curious and upbeat, the way she usually is when I mentioned dating someone new. But as soon as I told her his name, her entire tone shifted. Instantly, she went from excited to cold in seconds, and flat out said she wasn't okay with him coming to Christmas. She told me she didn't feel comfortable having some stranger there, and that he shouldn't come. I was stunned. She's one of the most sociable people I know, and we've both brought partners home for the holidays before. In fact, she's bringing her own boyfriend this year. They've been together about 7 months. I asked if she just hadn't liked him in high school or something, and maybe that was the issue. She denied it and claimed she barely even remembered him, which made her reaction even more confusing. I suggested we could arrange a quick meetup before Christmas so she could get to know him a bit, just to ease into it. But she shut that down immediately. She was really blunt, saying she didn't want to meet him before, during, or after Christmas, and told me to drop it. Then she hung up on me. A little while later, she sent a short text saying I was being disrespectful by pushing the issue and that I needed to stop trying to force her into something she didn't want. She ended it with, "Please don't bring this up again." I was completely baffled. This just isn't like her. She's always been supportive about my relationships, even when she probably shouldn't have been. My last boyfriend, she was cool with him. Even the one before that, who was, honestly, kind of a jerk, she made an effort. So what was different this time? I tried calling her again, but she didn't pick up. I texted her saying I was sorry for pressing, but I was really confused and just wanted to understand. She read it. No reply. Days went by. Total silence. I brought it up with my mom, hoping maybe she knew something I didn't. But she was just as lost as I was. She promised to talk to my sister herself. She tried calling a few times, but my sister kept brushing her off, saying she was too busy and would call back later, which never happened. I've kept trying to reach out, just simple texts asking if we can talk, if she's okay, and the only responses I get are short, cold messages like I don't want to talk about it or please drop it. That's it. Look, if my boyfriend's presence is genuinely upsetting to her, I won't bring him. I don't want to make Christmas uncomfortable for anyone, but I can't help feeling frustrated and honestly kind of hurt. She's not just saying she doesn't want to see him at the holidays. She's acting like she never wants to meet him, ever. And she won't give me any kind of explanation. It's starting to feel like there's something deeper going on here, like she's hiding something. Did they have some kind of past she's not telling me about? Because this just doesn't add up. It's been the weirdest emotional roller coaster. The part that really sucked was having to tell my boyfriend that my sister didn't want him at Christmas and not being able to give him a single reason why. He was incredibly sweet about it, said he understood, but I could tell he was confused and probably a little hurt. He even asked if there had been some awkward moment between them in high school that he forgot about, but said they always got along fine when they crossed paths. Honestly, he seemed more concerned that he might have done something wrong without realizing it. He offered to just spend Christmas Eve with his own family and suggested we could hang out on Christmas Day or the day after instead. It was thoughtful, but still, it's not really about the schedule. It's the fact that my sister is acting so out of character, and I have no idea why. It's starting to mess with my head and stress out our relationship. What if she refuses to be around him, ever? Am I supposed to keep them apart forever? I really care about this guy. This could be the real thing. But my sister means a lot to me, too. And I hate feeling like I have to choose or keep them in separate corners of my life. My mom thinks maybe my sister will open up to her before she tells me anything, but they haven't had a proper chance to talk face to face yet. She suspects something happened back in high school that my sister doesn't want to talk about, but whatever it is, It's completely derailed our holiday plans and put everyone in a weird place. My boyfriend keeps checking in, asking if he did something wrong. And I keep saying no, but the truth is, I don't know, because my sister refuses to explain. I'm torn on whether I should keep pushing for answers or just let it go. Am I in the wrong for pressing her on this? Edit, thanks for all the replies. A bunch of people have suggested that maybe she had a thing for him back then. Or maybe something happened between them. At first, I wasn't sure, but the theory kind of started to make sense. So I brought it up with my boyfriend last night. I told him I needed complete honesty and asked if there had ever been anything more between him and my sister than what he told me. He looked genuinely confused and said no, nothing ever happened. They never hooked up, never even hung out one-on-one. He said they were always part of the same larger social group, but she was more of a friend of a friend. He also mentioned that he had a serious girlfriend all through high school. They started dating freshman year and broke up right before graduation, so he wasn't messing around with anyone else, especially not my sister. From what he remembers, my sister was never mean to him. And he certainly never treated her badly. He said they were always friendly, maybe a little distant, but never had any drama. He even pulled out his old yearbook and flipped through the photos, trying to see if anything jogged his memory, but nothing did. So yeah, it really feels like there's something else going on here that only my sister knows. I guess I'll have to try talking to her again once I'm back home for the holidays. I'll update if anything changes, but honestly, I'm kind of dreading going back now with this hanging in the air. Update number 1. A lot of you messaged asking for updates. So here's what's happened. I'll be honest, the situation still isn't totally sorted out, but I finally learned something. When I got home on Wednesday, my sister acted like everything was perfectly normal. No weird vibes, no awkward silences. She helped me carry my bags in, asked about my trip, just total business as usual. It was kind of maddening because I knew we needed to talk, and she was pretending there was nothing to talk about. That night, my mom suggested the two of us go to dinner alone, just sisters, to clear the air. My mom had the idea that maybe we just needed some sister bonding time. So she nudged us into going out for dinner, just the two of us. We ended up at this Mexican place we used to love back in high school. At first, everything seemed fine. We joked about our parents, chatted about her job and my classes, swapped stories like we usually do. But as the meal went on, I realized something was off. She wasn't asking anything about my life outside of school. No questions about my friends. No how's your boyfriend. Nothing that could possibly lead to me bringing him up. She was clearly steering away from that topic. So I finally just brought it up myself. The second I mentioned him, her whole vibe shifted. She tensed up, got defensive, and told me again to drop it. I told her flat out that I care about this guy a lot. And if she has a problem with him, I deserve to know what it is. If he had ever done something to hurt her, or if there was something seriously wrong with him, of course I'd want to know. I wouldn't want to stay with someone who made my sister feel unsafe or uncomfortable. She swore up and down that he never did anything like that. He didn't hurt her. He wasn't mean. She just didn't want a random guy at our family Christmas. And honestly, that made me mad because it was clearly a lie, or at least not the full story. I pointed out that she's bringing her boyfriend this year, and I've only met the guy twice. Once at a birthday dinner, and once when they stopped by during a road trip. If my boyfriend is a stranger to her, then hers is a stranger to me. But somehow, that's okay. She said it was different because I've already met her boyfriend. I reminded her she's technically already met mine. To end that, I even offered for us all to get together before the holidays to make it more comfortable. But she shot that down. I asked if she was jealous that I was dating someone from her grade. That's when she got super defensive and called the idea ridiculous. The whole conversation went in circles. It got tense and went nowhere. We ended up driving home in total silence, and the second we walked into the house, she disappeared into her room without saying a word. Later that night, I was lying in my old bedroom, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. That's when I remembered my sister's childhood best friend, someone she was basically glued to from elementary through high school, still lives in town. I still follow her on Instagram. We've liked each other's photos now and then, but we haven't really talked in years. I figured if anyone would know what this mystery beef is, it'd be her. So I messaged her. I tried to sound casual, like, hey, random question, did you know boyfriend's name in high school? I've been dating him for a while now and just found out he went to your school. She responded that yeah, she definitely knew who he was. And then she asked, wait, does your sister know? Red flag, big one. I told her yes, my sister knows, and she's clearly not thrilled about it. That's when she asked if we could talk on the phone instead of texting. And that's when everything started to make sense. Turns out, my sister wasn't just mildly interested in him back in the day. She was obsessed. I'm talking full-on teenage romantic obsession, according to her friend. It started in 7th grade and went all the way through graduation. I had no idea. She never talked about him when I was in high school. She dated other guys, acted totally normal. But apparently, behind the scenes, she was carrying a full-blown torch for him. Her friend said it wasn't just a silly crush. My sister was legit in love. She'd talk about him nonstop, doodle his name in her notebooks, even plan out their wedding. Like, seriously, that kind of intense, hearts and eyes infatuation that only teenage girls can pull off. Her friend told me it went even deeper than I thought. My sister had actually researched which colleges he was applying to so she could apply to the same ones. She didn't end up following through on that plan, but the intent was very real. I was stunned. This wasn't just a case of butterflies or a one-time crush. It was something she had carried with her through almost all of high school. I asked if my boyfriend had any idea she felt this way, or if anything had ever happened between them, even a small moment. But her friend said no. As far as she knew, he was completely in the dark the entire time, and they definitely never hooked up, which apparently frustrated my sister to no end. She had tried everything to get his attention, showed up to the movie theater where he worked with other guys just to make him jealous, only went to parties if she knew he'd be there. She even hooked up with his best friend once, hoping it would somehow get back to him. And in one of the most intense moments, she actually tried to break up him and his girlfriend by spreading a rumor that the girl had cheated on him at a party. That backfired spectacularly. The girlfriend confronted her in the cafeteria, and it turned into this whole dramatic mess. One of those high school moments everyone talks about years later. But even after that, he stayed with his girlfriend until senior year, when they finally broke up. And my sister, according to her friend, thought this was finally her chance. Only, he still didn't look her way. Not even once. She cried for days. Her friend said it crushed her. She had gotten into the same college he was attending, but decided not to go, saying she needed a clean slate. And honestly, that part hurt me to hear. Because even though I'm angry about the way she's treating my boyfriend now, I do feel for her. I know what it's like to want someone so badly and never feel seen. But here's the wildest part. Apparently, she never really let it go. Her friend said she brought him up now and then over the years casually at first. Like, I wonder what happened to that guy. Or do you think he's married now? But it wasn't nothing. It was always a little charged. She still thinks about him. She might still want to be with him if he gave her the chance. And now he's dating me. So yeah, I finally get it. I'm relieved in a way that it wasn't something darker. Some of the theories in the comments had my stomach in knots, that he hurt her, or manipulated her, or something worse. So finding out it was just an unrequited high school obsession that never got resolved, That's better. But I'm also furious. She's willing to exclude him, someone I care about deeply, from our family holidays over something that never even happened. He never led her on. He never even knew. She could have just told me. It would have been awkward, sure, but I would have at least understood. Instead, she lied, avoided the subject, and put me in the middle of this weird emotional mess that she's been carrying around since we were kids. Her friend asked me not to say anything, not to tell my sister I found out from her. And I get it. She's stuck in the middle too. But I honestly don't know how to move forward without somehow letting my sister know that I know. I'm going to try to talk to her one more time. This time, I'm going to be direct. I'll let her know I'm aware of the feelings she had, and probably still has, and that I get why this is hard. But it's time to stop pretending. Time to stop punishing me and my boyfriend for something that happened over a decade ago. We're not in high school anymore. Thank you all for the support and the theories. Some of you nailed it. By the way, I'll update again. If anything else happens, fingers crossed. We can actually act like adults this time. You're harsh, but most of you have been really supportive. I'll update again if anything new happens. I'm still unsure whether I should tell my boyfriend about all of this or if it would just make things more uncomfortable. Update 2. Apologies for the delay. The holidays threw me off completely. I didn't check Reddit for a while, and when I logged in today, I had so many messages asking for an update. I'm surprised at how many people were invested in this family drama. So here's what happened. My mom did bring up the topic of my sister's crush during their Christmas shopping trip, about a week before Christmas. I wasn't there, but my mom told me about it later. Apparently, they were in the food court, taking a break from shopping, when my mom casually mentioned she was looking forward to introducing my boyfriend at Christmas. My sister seemed to tense up right away, and my mom asked her what was bothering her about him. My sister seemed embarrassed, and when she realized that everyone knew, she tried to downplay it. She claimed it wasn't a big deal, insisting she just didn't want a stranger at Christmas. But my mom didn't buy it and pushed her for a real explanation. My mom can be pretty forceful when she wants to be, and it was clear my sister wasn't going to win this one. After a bit of resistance, she admitted that it made her uncomfortable that the guy she once had a huge crush on had never noticed her, but now was interested in her younger sister. It wasn't that she still had feelings for him, she said, but more about the embarrassment of how she had acted when she was younger. She confessed that being around him would make her feel like the insecure teenager she used to be, and she didn't want to face him again, fearing he would remember how obsessed she had been with him. My mom validated her feelings but made it clear that she couldn't dictate who I dated based on a past crush. She suggested my sister talk to me to clear things up. My mom called to share all this after she got home, and I expected my sister to reach out to me later that evening, but she didn't. I was planning to wait until I talked to her before bringing it up with my boyfriend, but instead, I ended up hanging out with him that night and decided to just tell him everything I had learned. I felt nervous, but thought he deserved to know why my sister was acting so strange about him coming to Christmas. I tried to be careful, not making my sister sound too out of line, but I did explain that she had once had a big crush on him in high school and now felt awkward. He was a bit shocked at first, but then seemed to have an aha moment, realizing some things that had confused him in the past. He seemed to put the pieces together and actually apologized for any role he might have played in the situation. I reassured him that he had nothing to apologize for. From what I understood, he had no idea she had ever liked him. I told him that if all this drama made him uncomfortable and he didn't want to be with me anymore, I'd understand. He looked at me like I was crazy for even thinking that, telling me he wouldn't leave over something like this. He said he really liked me, and compared to the mess his family causes, this was nothing. I showed him both Reddit posts, and we laughed at some of the outlandish comments. Some of you are really wild. He also reminded me to take advice from Reddit with a grain of salt next time I turn to the internet for help. For the next few days, things were quiet. I saw my sister around the house, but we were both avoiding the topic. My parents acted normally, but I could tell my mom was waiting for us to work things out. It was this weird tension where everyone knew what was going on, but no one said anything. Eventually, my sister called me the next day and asked to come over to talk. When she arrived at my parents' house, she looked really uncomfortable and immediately apologized for overreacting and shutting down when I told her about my boyfriend without discussing it with her first. She admitted she'd been caught off guard when I told her who I was dating and had reacted poorly. I thanked her for apologizing and asked her to explain her feelings in her own words. At first, she was hesitant, but eventually she opened up. She told me the same thing. She told my mom she was embarrassed and uncomfortable. She explained that she'd been so obsessed with him in high school and had done some cringeworthy things to get his attention. The thought of seeing him again mortified her. She said she eventually got over it and moved on in college. But hearing his name again brought all those feelings rushing back. She was worried he might know about her crush and think that I was dating him to somehow get close to him through her. I asked if she still had feelings for my boyfriend, and she actually laughed, saying that ship had sailed long ago. She really is happy in her current relationship. Her boyfriend knows everything about the situation, as she confided in him, and he actually encouraged her to talk to me and work things out because it was silly to let a high school crush mess up our holiday plans. I reassured her that my boyfriend has no negative memories of her and is excited to get to know her as my sister with a clean slate. I told her he had no idea about her past feelings and wouldn't make things weird. I also promised I wouldn't mention any of the embarrassing things she did, and I haven't. She said she tried to move past her discomfort and was looking forward to seeing both of us at Christmas, which was a huge relief. I asked if she wanted to meet my boyfriend for coffee before the big family gathering, so it wouldn't be so awkward. But she said she'd rather just dive in and get it over with. So with that, my boyfriend. In the end, my sister did come to Christmas, and it went great. She gave my boyfriend a bit of an awkward greeting, and they didn't interact a lot. But we all played games together, and my parents really liked him. My dad especially got along with him, and they ended up spending about an hour chatting about some boring history documentary they had both seen. My boyfriend was super nice to my sister and acted completely normal, no awkwardness at all. He told me later that he didn't feel uncomfortable in the slightest. As the night went on, my sister relaxed, and by dessert, they were having a normal conversation about a TV show they both watch. It honestly turned out so lovely, and I feel like the awkwardness my sister initially felt will fade with time. After they left, my sister texted me, saying that we made a great couple and apologized again for almost ruining my Christmas. She said seeing us together made her realize how ridiculous she had been, and it was obvious we were good for each other. I told her I forgave her and would always love her. We're planning to have dinner next week with just the four of us, me, my boyfriend, my sister, and her boyfriend, to keep moving things forward and make it feel more normal. Thank you all again for your comments, advice, suggestions, and support. I really do love Reddit sometimes. And for those asking, yes, my boyfriend and I are still going strong. We're actually talking about moving in together when our leases are up in a few months. But don't tell my family yet. One dramatic conversation at a time is enough. And here's what I'll tell you at the very end. You watched this story to the end. It means only one thing. This video format suits you. You should subscribe to the channel to continue listening to similar stories in this format.